way to start our NCO week at here Fort Huachuca. Here's what I love about our NCO Corps. I love the fact that you make our Army the best in the world. There is no other Army on this planet with a caliber of non-commissioned officer corps as the United States Army. The first two sentences of your creed. No one is more professional than I. I am a non-commissioned officer. I am a leader of soldiers. To me, that says it all. This week is important. This week is about our non-commissioned officers. It's about what you do for our Army. Command Sergeant Major Ladder is going to lead you on this run. It'll be a great way to kick off the week. I personally want to thank each and every one of you for being out here this morning.
Get the blood flowing. So the 2017 motivational streamer this year, based on a unanimous decision by the judges, is going to be presented to the 213th. So the 213th, they stayed in formation the whole run. They sang and sounded off together. They just looked like the best professional organization out here today. Who?
So welcome to the first NCODP of NCO Week. Kicking it off is our very own Command Sergeant Major Curry. He's the NetCom Command Sergeant Major. So the other two-star command that's here on the installation that is active in the defense of our nation 24/7.
If you're on a post, camp, or station anywhere in the world and you're on a computer, you're riding the NetCom network or the network that is provided by NetCom. So whether you're in Korea, Japan, Germany, over in Iraq, Afghanistan, if you got lucky, went to Bahrain and Qatar, over there, anywhere stateside on any post-campus station where the Army is the executive agent, which means the Army provides the network, NetCom provides that network. What is the #1 threat to the network right now? Everybody hold your hand up to your face. Right? That's a mirror. Right? That is your #1 threat to the network, the insider threat. The people who are inside the network who already have access to the network are our biggest vulnerabilities. Why is that? Why would I say something like that? Why would I say, y'all would never do anything to hurt the network, right? We use the network every day. You wouldn't do anything to hurt it. But why do I say that you are the #1 threat to the network?
Ignore security protocols.
You ignore security protocols, absolutely right. And here's a great example. Say I went to where you park every day to go into your office and I took 20 USB drives, right? And I wrote on those drives, excellent pictures on one USB drive, beach party on one, rap tunes on another one, heavy metal on one, just a whole bunch of USB drives, and I just took them and threw them in your parking lot. How many of you think that by the end of the day, one of those USB drives would be plugged into your network? Because you can't wait till you get home. Right? You can't wait till you get home. You gotta see what's on it. And that's what the red teams do. And those are the people who come down and test and see if they can knock on your door and say, hey, I'm from the Department of the Army, let me in.
Command Sergeant Major Davenport is the TRADOC Command Sergeant Major, responsible for everything that goes on with recruiting, building, training, and designing the Army.
And then let's talk about the classroom itself. We're going to move away from DTC suites and all this kind of stuff. We're running a pilot right now at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, NCO Academy, a bring your own device to the classroom. So you can bring your tablet and smartphone, hit a QR code, we upload the material you're going to need, and then much like iTunes, using your digital rucksack, You can check to keep it on the device, or uncheck it and put it in the cloud space that we're going to have for you. So if you're out, you're teaching a class, you want to kind of refresh yourself, much like me downloading Bob Seger Against the Wind today, I go to my iTunes, click it, and now it's on my iPhone. Same kind of concept. So a lot of work being done in the classroom. Since Sergeant Major brought it up, I'll share you my email philosophy. I get a couple of emails a day. And 2 to 3 lines is an email to me. Okay? 2 to 3 lines is an email to me. If you are writing 4, 5, 6 lines, that's probably a phone call. Okay? You need to call me because there is so much that you're writing. I'm not going to read it all. Okay? That's about what I can see on the screen. And 3 lines. So I'm not going to read it all. And if you're writing more than that, we probably need to link up VTC, or I'll fly out to wherever you're at, because there's a lot of emotion in there. And when you write email, it's hard to understand the context and emotion of it. And again, a part of my leadership style, since we're talking about leadership, I like a personal connection. And so, Sergeant Major and others that I've interacted with, they will tell you. They'll send me a long email. I'll read the first couple lines like, okay, got it, thanks, or call me. That's about the list of my auto text in my phone. Because again, I think it's about, if you want to have a clear understanding, you got, email's just not the way of doing it. So I like a lot of conferences. I like doing these kinds of things, interacting, and having a personal relationship in my leadership.
All right, so listen up, everybody. So this is the third of our non-commissioned officer professional development. Today we've got Command Sergeant Major Redmond. Command Sergeant Major Redmond currently is the Command Sergeant Major for Cybercom. He's also the senior enlisted leader for the National Security Agency Central Security Service. So he's one of the 17 most senior enlisted in the Joint Force.
I hope that I offer for each and every one of you some tool, something that you can stick in your rucksack. What I encourage is, don't ever accept when a Sergeant Major stands up here and tells you there's only one way of doing something. We all know that's not true. If you start trying to control your assignments too early in your career, you start limiting your potential to gain experience. For right or wrong, we all do make decisions for our families or for other reasons that exist in our life, and I don't think that that's wrong. As long as you're making those decisions with the understanding that the moment you start trying to control your experiences, you start to control your ability to learn from those experiences. Your military experience is a lot about what happens to you rather than what you can control. So how do you make sure you are always prepared as a non-commissioned officer to walk into any opportunity that happens? There are probably more of you in this room that have called your branch to figure out what's next for you. So I never did that. Never once. Seemed to work out okay for me, but it's only my experience. I started out by telling you you can only take bits and pieces of my experience and figure out how you mold it into your experiences and your leadership style. It's what my experience was, and hopefully that there is something of value in that dissertation that you can use as you move forward in your experience. But it is not to in any way imply that another senior sergeant major who has a different set of experiences and a different observation that may not even be the same or may be in violent disagreement is also applicable in our environment. Raise your hand if you think it's harder to lead today than it was 20 years ago. Okay, usually I get quite a few hands. The biggest difference that I see in my 35 years is the speed of communication. I don't think that anyone can deny that the speed of communication has really increased, right? And that's something that we as NCOs are having to really deal with as things swirl and things flow in all kinds of different directions. But if you believe in that underlying contract with the parents of America, then we're probably in a good spot that says, why, if a young American, if they're to follow the path I give them, work hard in whatever job I give them, learn how to lead based on the great training we give in TRADOC, the great experiences we give in the force, why can't every American get to the grade of battalion CSM if they want to? I think we have to do some name tag management above battalion CSM, but I'd like to think that we as a group are capable enough leaders that we can turn any young high school dropout recruit into someone who can be a senior sergeant major in our Army. We all have weaknesses. All of us. The answer to solving that is sitting on your left or right. If you have a PT problem, if it's a technical problem, if it's a personal problem, it can't be about competing with that NCO on your left and your right.
On behalf of the non-commissioned officers of Fort Huachuca, welcome to today's non-commissioned officer induction ceremony. We are assembled here today to recognize soldiers who, through their hard work, determination, and merit, have moved on to join the ranks of the non-commissioned officer. It is a special ceremony formally marking the passage of a soldier into the non-commissioned officer. These senior non-commissioned officers will now light 3 candles, each symbolizing an important part of military history in the NCO Corps.
The creed of the non-commissioned officer is a way of life for all NCOs. Inductees, take your copy of the creed that you will receive today and place it where you can view it every day. Live by its words and you will continue to develop into an outstanding, well-rounded NCO. Congratulations on becoming an NCO in the most powerful military force in the world. Be the standard and enforce the standard. We're counting on you to lead from the front.
Sergeant, step forward and cross the time-honored line and join the Corps of Non-Commissioned Officers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Sergeant Keisha Villanueva, new inductee into the Corps of Non-Commissioned Officers.
All right, everybody, listen up. So we're rolling out, closing up the NCO week here at Fort Huachuca. A lot of great activities this week. We had a lot of great guest speakers come down and talk to us for professional development. We kicked off the week with a run, a little motivation. Hold. All right, so here's the goal. Anybody that you see that's got a number on them, they're competing for a GAF B. All right, so give them the route and move off to the side. Let them run by if they're running by you, kind of a thing.
10.9.
For everybody else, all right, it's a challenge to yourself. It's also camaraderie out here. We're going to knock out 8 miles in a couple hours, okay? If you haven't introduced yourself to somebody yet that you don't know, while you're walking along, find somebody that you don't know and ask them where they're from and what they're doing, that kind of stuff like that. That's what we are about being a non-commissioned officer corps. Knowing other people that you never met before, but you can see that rank and know they're an NCO and you know you can count on them. Hold.
You know, it's good. People are going to be competitive, but it's also slow enough that people can actually talk to people while they're going along their ruck march. So I think it's a perfect blend of intensity as well as a little bit more laid back.
It's a good cap. We've had a bunch of sergeant majors come in from some of the various commands, giving us their take on the IC, the intel community, and the future, and how the NCO Corps is changing, how the schools are changing. It's been very enlightening and encouraging to be an NCO these days.